I just did it one little time. I'm gonna hand it back to you one time. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, I had to have this back surgery. 28 years old, laid up with a fiance who I was sure was going to leave. And she asked me one day when I was all doped up on painkillers, what are you going to do with your life? What are you going to do when your feet hit the ground? And I told her I was going to start a magazine. And I told her I was going to call it G Vegas. I asked her where we were going to find this money from. She said, I have this credit card, and it has a $5,000 limit. So whatever you do, this is what we got, and it's got to be paid off. So my loving wife, in her infinite wisdom, decided to put all her eggs in the basket with me. One of the aspects of it was to take these photographs and put them in like a collage type format. It was like, where's Waldo? And that's what people loved about it. And that's what I noticed about it. I said, I kind of want this where's Waldo thing. So we go out and we take all these pictures. We were doing that when there was no Facebook. We would go out, we'd take a bunch of photos, but versus being on a computer, we actually printed a tangible physical magazine. And people would swipe through it and look and laugh and talk about this picture or what they loved or what they hated about it. And then I started getting phone calls from people wanting to advertise in the magazine. So we started printing. The first issue was released on August 16, 2006. It just really built on reputation. Everyone wanted to be a part of it. As far as the entertainment district goes, there's always been this button heads, but we understand that the university wants to be respected. And they are in a lot of places. I mean, they have one of the best medical schools in the nation. They cannot shake the stigma of this #1 party school in the nation. And it's not now. It's not. They have done their best, and they have done it. And that hurts me. And by them squeezing that world to a much smaller world, we've had to work extremely hard to keep our heads above water and to help promote these businesses and to help the businesses thrive in an ever-changing world that really doesn't want them here. And if they just get together, and I know it sounds like beating a dead horse, if we all get together, the world will be a better place. If all the club owners would get together, all the restaurant owners would get together. Now, it's never going to go perfect, and people are going to hold grudges and not see eye to eye. That's life. That's the human nature. But if you have that single goal, and our single goal is to have a thriving entertainment scene in Eastern North Carolina. We can't have that if it's painted as something dirty or terrible. It's only dirty or terrible if you abuse it. Anything in excess is going to be bad for you. If you have issues towards alcohol or issues towards sex in general, then you're going to have issues towards G Vegas magazine, because we sell everything entertainment. Turn on a television. There's a beer commercial on any standard television station at any given moment. No one would bat an eye at us in New York City. No one would care. We probably wouldn't even be successful. Part of the success comes from the people out there doing a lot of the work for us. Hey, did you hear about those guys? Can you believe they did that? And I'm hoping that someone's like, yeah, I can believe they did that. We had a hell of a time out there. We are dealt the hand we have for whatever we may be doing, and we're going to do it to the best of our abilities. And we have a good time doing it. I mean, we party, man. We have a good, there's no other word for it. In the beginning years, it was very much these small groups of people, and a business would say, okay, we'll give you X amount of dollars and we want you to bring these people in and show us a good time. And after a few years, you started seeing it grow, and it turned into a different animal. It started, instead of covering events, we started putting them on. Think about that for a second. G Vegas magazine has only been around 10 years. When we started, there was no Facebook, there was no YouTube, there was no text messaging, there was no social media. People use the app now and they send their own photos in. They have a house party, they don't call us and invite us. Hey, we're having a house party. Can you send some photographers over? They used to do that when we first started. Hey, we're having a big thing, come over. Now they just take the photos And at their leisure, they submit them. So instead of having 10 photographers on staff, we have 10,000 photographers on staff. So what will it be like 10 years from now? I want somebody to say, you know, I remember when Facebook came around and what it did, and I remember when Snapchat went out of business. So what's next? One of our head designer, Eduardo Vargas, and I came up with this idea to umbrella everything under the name Where You Party. And with the idea that in these bigger cities, we would nickname them, or they would already be nicknamed, we would use that as the name of our particular magazine, and we would do online versions of what we do now here in Greenville. So now it's taken 10 years, but this little small magazine I started in my bedroom is now putting on events in Raleigh, Jacksonville, Wilmington, and of course here still in Greenville. At one point we started focusing on really helping the people that work with G-Vegas because we weren't able to pay them and we weren't paying them. So, you know, you gotta have a give and take. You know, they're giving us their time, their energy. You know, what are they taking away? I remember them for the most part, especially the ones that put in years. I mean, there's some that have been there since day one. They're still here today. And there are others that, you know, put in, you know, many hours of sweat, blood, tears. I want them to forever cherish their college years, their young adult years by being involved with this. You know, it's not about beer for us. It's not about girls in bikinis, and it's not about taking pictures, and it's never been about that. We get a reputation for that. It has always been about the students. It's always been about the people. If you go through life trying to figure out how to not make people mad, you're gonna go through life not enjoying or not picking up on anything that's going on around you. I'm actually selling something every day that literally doesn't exist. But it exists in the hearts and minds of the people that want it. So, you know, and we have had the positives. We have people that love G-Vegas magazine for 10 years. They've loved it. And we have people that absolutely despise it. And what I can tell you is that love it or hate it, in order to have that strong of opinion either way, you're definitely reading it.